Welcome back to Christian Parenting. Our topic has been creating a spiritual environment in your home. Our guests, Dr. Chester Clark and Harriet, have been talking about principles that we can apply to create that environment where our children can grow spiritually. We have some questions that we'd like to take at this time. Our first question this evening.
My question is for a 3-year-old. He doesn't quite talk very much, but he's still learning to vocalize his words. What kind of activities, what kind of things can I do with him for the Sabbath? Because there's times when I have a hard time trying to figure out what I can do with him that's good for his age.
A 3-year-old needs a lot of variety, and so you're not going to be able to do one activity or maybe 2 activities. It'll be a variety of activities that may range from singing songs, having a story, taking a walk, going to visit someone, watching. I'm not much for watching videos at 3. Coloring, some kind of a little artsy type of activity that would go along with a story. I think the main thing with a child that age is there's got to be a lot of variation, and there has to be periods of movement in between the more sedate type activities.
Okay, next question.
What kind of activities that can be done on Sabbath afternoon with teenagers, ages 16 to 17?
Well, just for illustration, what we do in the academy, and it was similar to what we did when our children were teenagers, we would vary the activities. We would have, like, one Sabbath we go on a walk, nature hike. Another Sabbath we have sunshine bands. We might divide up and go to various 4, 5, 6 different homes and sing and pray with older people or sick people. If the weather is bad, one thing that we found, as we mentioned earlier, is letters of cheer. And the students will sit down and take Bible texts and write a little note to go with that Bible text of encouraging them, whether they've lost a loved one or they've been ill. And that has been tremendous impact. And then we read the letters or the responses that we get from these people when we send them a package of letters. And some of the other things that we have done.
We've done literature distribution. We try to do that probably once a month. We've gone to, like, battered women's shelters and done a little vacation Bible school type activities with their children, read them stories. We've visited a handicap home and learned what kind of things that those youth and adults even would like to have read to them, and have the young people read stories. We've done surveys to get Bible studies and set up regular recurring Bible studies and tried. It doesn't always work, but when we can schedule it to return on Sabbath afternoons, it's great because it provides a Sabbath afternoon activity that's very meaningful and very spiritual.
Okay, we have another question right in the front.
My question is a rather difficult one because I'm a single parent through the death of the father of the children. I have 2 girls, 1 foster daughter, and I have 1 6-year-old. And I learned through my father the perfect love of God, if you will. And my mother was the spiritual leader, I guess you could say. So I'm finding myself not only being the breadwinner, but the spiritual leader and the disciplinarian and the friend. And I see a lot of rejection because my girls have very strong personalities like myself. But we're talking about their spiritual well-being. So how do I pull this together for them so that they can accept me on all these levels without a male influence that they're really longing for?
I think we can both relate to you very well because we both grew up in divided homes where there was only a mother present and did not have a father image. But and I know it's a difficult situation. There's no easy answers. Mm-hmm. But I think Harriet is wanting to say something.
I was going to introduce it by the fact that both of us grew up in fatherless homes. And so there is reason for hope and courage. Both of our mothers made decisions to raise us to love and honor the Lord. You do have a difficult challenge, particularly with strong-willed children. I would encourage you to look for as many ways as you can to make your children happy. Now, that isn't meaning buy them everything they want and do everything they want, but we're encouraged to make our children, say yes to our children and to make them as happy as we can within the confines of what we can do. We need to smile and be cheery and happy in our own Christian experience. The thing I have seen work, and a lot depends on the age of your children, the ages of your children, because certainly as they get older, that it's a little harder to wear both the disciplinarian role and the nurturing role and the head of the, yeah, all of those. But if your children recognize how much you love them and how much you are going to be there for them, to support them as much as you can, I think it makes it easier. Other than that, you just pray, pray, pray for divine guidance, because every situation's a little different. And even the same child today and tomorrow will be different. But ask the Lord to give you the keys to their heart. I know when my children were young, and even today, and they're adults now, I want to bond them to me. And so I look for things, and I looked for things that I knew that they would enjoy, that I could do with them. Because there are enough hard times when you have to say no, that I want them also to have those memories of the good times in their mind, what was good, that I'm saying yes, and we're doing this together, and we're having a good time. So that it doesn't seem like all we are disciplinarians saying no, 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 no. So, you know, I would just encourage you to look for as many of those positive experiences, simple things that you can do to help your children know, Mom loves me, and to have a warm feeling. Now, that doesn't mean every moment of the day they're going to love you or they're going to recognize they love you. Children aren't that way. But if you're consistent, the message will come through, I believe, and the Lord will help you. And it's only Him in those kind of situations that we can depend on.
One other thing, I think this is a beautiful opportunity for the extended family, meaning the church, to facilitate and help and provide some of these areas of lack. I think of my life as a teenager, and maybe even before, how a college student kind of took me under his wing and provided the fatherly influence that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and how stabilizing that was for me as a child. And so it's a challenge not only for you but for the church as well. And perhaps if you can work with people in the church to share your needs, that there might be somebody who would receive the burden from the Lord to help in the nurturing of your children.